What is up guys, Alex from Lakey Wargames here and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be having a look at hobby burnout and my top tips on how to counter it. Alrighty, so before we jump into the tips of how to counter hobby burnout, first let's have a look at what is hobby burnout. To me, hobby burnout is often when you think about doing the hobby and just the thought of starting it seems too draining to actually want to carry it out and puts you off doing any hobbying at all. This can be caused by a multitude of ways and everyone has their own reasons for feeling some sort of hobby burnout. Maybe you've taken on too much at once and you just feel overwhelmed what to do next. Maybe you've finished a whole bunch of projects and just don't feel motivated to do the next one. Whatever the cause of your hobby burnout might be, it's never a nice place to be, but there are many ways you can dig yourself out of that space. The best way to beat hobby burnout is to find out the cause of the problem, and it's different for everyone, but here are some of my personal top tips to beating that hobby burnout feeling and getting your motivation back. So, tip number 1 is to paint what you enjoy, even if it means painting something else. Maybe you're 50 zombies into your 100-man zombie pile, but you hate painting zombies. It can be just as simple as you need to paint something that isn't a zombie. Now this scale can be different for everyone. Maybe you're 3 Marines into a tactical squad, but again, you don't like painting tactical Marines. Maybe you need to do something more that excites you, like an assault Marine, and then come back to do a couple more tactical Marines. So you're like spreading out that feeling of, I hate painting these models, but I need them done because they're essential for my army. So you paint a couple of them, paint something from a different unit that you do like, and then come back and do a couple more, and keep going forward and backwards, because painting something is better than always painting nothing. And this can even be done if you've got multiple projects, like you've got 2 completely different armies. Say you've got a 40k army, and you've got a Sigmar army, and you're getting tired of painting Sigmar stuff. Paint a 40k thing. It's just a different feeling, something different. Maybe one of your colour schemes is red, you're sick of painting red, you don't enjoy it anymore. You've got the sudden urge to paint something a completely different colour, and you've got something in you to do while. Paint that other thing. If you've got a buzzing feeling of enjoying something, just paint the other thing, and then come back and finish the other thing later on. Tip number 2 is paint something small. Sometimes the thought of painting whole models or armies can be very daunting, and it can put you off wanting to pick up a paintbrush and start a hobby session in the first place. Sometimes you just need to do something small, and once you're in that flow, you'll be surprised how far you'll go. Try doing something like some bases. Paint some bases, paint some small details. Maybe you've got a unit, they need the claws painting, or just weapons. Just paint some weapons. Don't have to do whole models, just get started doing something very small. And then once you're down and you've got some paint on your brush and you've been away painting something, like I said, you'll be surprised how far that going from painting the small details on a model or just painting some bases can really lift you up and drive you into just keep on going. Tip number 3 is take a break from painting but still hobby. Very often when you're working on a large scale or very time consuming painting project, it can cause you to lose that spark to want to pick up the paintbrush. Maybe you need to do some hobby that isn't painting per se. Try building some models for the next project that you wanted to do. So then that way you're building something instead of painting. Maybe you need to spend some time making cool thematic bases for the model that you are currently painting or other models that you will be painting. And that way you get to still do some hobby time, you're being productive, you're getting something done for your project or the next project you want to do, but you're not painting, because sometimes it's not the hobby in total that's put us off. Sometimes we just can't be bothered to paint, and in that case, just do some hobby that isn't painting. Tip number 4 for beating hobby burnout can be play games with your army even if it isn't finished. Now, people always give out a lot of stick to those who play with unpainted armies, but if you're anything like me, sometimes having a game with your models is exactly what you need. Seeing your models on the table and having your heroes lead out glorious charges and enact incredible feats on the tabletop makes you want to have them all finished so that they look great when doing so. If you play regularly at a friendly local gaming group, as long as each week you come back with more models finished than you did the week before, who's really going to complain? We all have lives and other things that take up our time, but small consistent progress will be seen and get you to enjoy playing your army while seeing it grow. For my last tip in today's video, tip number 5, it's sometimes you just need a fresh break. Now this one isn't always so obvious to know when you need it, but sometimes the best thing we can do for our hobby is just take a step back and have some time away from it. You can spend your free time doing something else like reading or playing video games, or doing something else you enjoy like sports or music. After a couple of days, maybe a week or two, you'll come back to the hobby feeling refreshed and motivated, because no doubt if you're like everyone else in the hobby, that itch will come calling again. You spend enough time away from the hobby desk, you'll start hearing its voice calling you back. And then, after some time away, you'll be feeling great when you sit back down at the desk. Now again, hobby burnout is something that affects us all differently, and there are a lot of ways to break free from this feeling, depending on the situation that's causing it to you personally. If you've ever experienced any kind of hobby burnout, please leave in the comments down below explaining how you beat yours, so that people currently going through the burnout might be able to find some help from your experience. Many thanks for watching, guys. I hope these tips have helped you in some ways, and until next time, stay safe and happy wargaming. Psst! Hey you! Did you know that Lakey Wargames now has an official eBay store? You can buy yourself all kinds of pre-painted and new on sprue hobby goodness and support the channel at the same time. There's a link in the description below if you want to check it out. I'd greatly appreciate it, and it's a fantastic way to support the channel. Okay, see you in the next one.